2026 Dacia Bigster, the best value SUV of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, car enthusiasts, family drivers, budget-conscious buyers, and everyone searching for the perfect balance between practicality, affordability, and modern SUV capability. Today we are talking about one of the most surprising automotive success stories of the year, the 2026 Dacia Bigster. And here's the remarkable thing about the Bigster. It doesn't try to be a luxury SUV. It doesn't try to be the fastest SUV. It doesn't try to reinvent the automobile. Instead, the Bigster asks a very simple question. What if you could buy a genuinely spacious, modern, capable family SUV without spending a fortune? That idea sounds almost revolutionary in today's market. Because let's be honest, the SUV segment has become expensive. Very expensive. Families looking for practical crossovers are often forced to choose between overpriced premium models, complicated technology packages, and monthly payments that feel more like mortgages. Then Dacia arrives with the Bigster and says, "No. Let's make something simpler, bigger, smarter, more affordable." And somehow, it works. The 2026 Bigster may genuinely be the best value SUV of the year. Not because it's perfect, but because it understands exactly what most buyers actually need. And more importantly, it avoids charging people for things they don't. The rise of Dacia. Before we dive into the Bigster itself, we need to understand why this vehicle matters so much. Dacia has transformed from a budget-only brand into one of Europe's most intelligent automotive success stories. For years, Dacia built its reputation on simple, durable, low-cost vehicles. Cars like the Dacia Duster and Dacia Sandero became famous for offering enough car at prices competitors simply could not match. And buyers responded. Massively. Why? Because many customers realized they were paying thousands extra for unnecessary gimmicks elsewhere. The Bigster is Dacia's boldest move yet. It enters the highly competitive C-segment SUV market, one of the toughest categories in Europe, where it faces giants like the Kia Sportage, Hyundai Tucson, Nissan Qashqai, Volkswagen Tiguan, Ford Kuga. That's serious competition. And yet the Bigster arrives with one massive advantage: price. Most reviews agree that the Bigster undercuts many rivals by several thousand euros while still offering impressive practicality, hybrid technology, modern infotainment, and SUV styling. That is the core of the Bigster's appeal. It gives people the feeling of getting more car than they paid for. Exterior design, rugged, honest, and surprisingly attractive. The first thing you notice about the Bigster is this. It actually looks good. Really good. Now, beauty is subjective, of course. But there's something refreshingly honest about the Bigster's design language. Unlike many modern SUVs trying too hard to appear futuristic, sporty, or aggressive, the Bigster embraces rugged simplicity. It looks like an SUV. A real SUV. Strong stance. Square proportions. Chunky wheel arches. High ride height. Sharp LED signatures. It doesn't pretend to be a coupe. It doesn't have fake vents everywhere. It doesn't sacrifice practicality for fashion. And that's exactly why people are loving it. The Y-shaped LED lighting gives the front end a distinctive identity, while the upright shape maximizes cabin room and cargo capacity. Reviewers consistently praise the Bigster's rugged styling and practical dimensions. In many ways, the Bigster feels like the spiritual successor to old-school SUVs, before the industry became obsessed with overly complicated design trends. And that honesty matters. Because when buyers see the Bigster, they immediately understand what it is. A practical family vehicle built for real life. Camping trips. School runs. Road trips. Groceries. Rough roads. Daily commuting. That's the mission. And visually, the Bigster communicates that perfectly. Size and presence, bigger than expected. The name Bigster sounds funny at first. But once you see the vehicle in person, it makes sense. This SUV is significantly larger than the Duster. Reviews note that the Bigster is around 23 centimeters longer and noticeably taller, pushing it firmly into the family SUV category. And that extra size transforms the experience. The Bigster has genuine road presence. Not premium brand intimidation, but confidence. It looks substantial. You sit higher. You feel safer. You have more room. You carry more luggage. And unlike oversized luxury SUVs that become difficult to maneuver in cities, the Bigster still feels manageable. That balance is important, because modern buyers want space, but they also want usability. The Bigster delivers both. Interior, function over flash. Now let's talk about the interior. This is where the Bigster becomes extremely interesting, because Dacia made a very deliberate decision here. Spend money where it matters most. Cut costs where it doesn't. And honestly, that philosophy works surprisingly well. The cabin is not luxurious. You will find hard plastics. You will notice some budget materials. Multiple reviewers mention this clearly. But here's the important detail. The interior doesn't feel cheap in a bad way. It feels durable, purposeful, easy to clean, practical. And for families, that matters far more than soft-touch dashboard materials. Parents with children do not need piano black trim covered in fingerprints. They need usable storage, comfortable seats, big cup holders, easy controls, and room. Lots of room. The Bigster excels here. Rear passenger space is impressive, especially considering the price. Reviews consistently praise the generous legroom, headroom, and cargo capacity. The boot space is one of the biggest strengths. Some reports mention luggage capacity approaching or exceeding 667 litres depending on configuration. That is seriously practical. For families, travellers, outdoor enthusiasts, and anyone tired of tiny crossovers pretending to be SUVs, the Bigster finally delivers usable space. Technology, modern enough without being overwhelming. One of the smartest things Dacia has done is avoid overcomplicating the technology. The Bigster includes modern essentials. Large infotainment screen, digital driver display, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, USB charging, driver assistance systems, parking cameras, hybrid powertrain options. And for most buyers, that's enough. In fact, it's more than enough. Modern vehicles often overwhelm drivers with endless menus, touch-sensitive buttons, subscription features, and confusing interfaces. The Bigster avoids much of that nonsense. Physical climate controls remain available, something reviewers actually praised. And this matters, because usability is becoming a lost art in the auto industry. The Bigster understands that technology should serve the driver, not distract from driving. Driving experience, better than expected. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Does the Bigster drive like a premium SUV? No. Of course not. And that's okay. Because the real surprise is this. It drives much better than many people expect. Most reviewers describe the ride as comfortable, composed, and perfectly suited for daily family use. The suspension is tuned for comfort rather than sporty handling. And honestly, that's exactly the right decision. Families do not need Nürburgring lap times. They need comfort over potholes. The steering is light and easy. Visibility is generally good. The elevated seating position creates confidence. And the hybrid systems provide decent efficiency for such a large SUV. Yes, there are weaknesses. Wind noise at motorway speeds appears in several reviews. The hybrid engine can become noisy under hard acceleration. And refinement still trails more expensive competitors. But again, look at the price. The Bigster is not trying to beat luxury SUVs. It is trying to maximize value. And from that perspective, the driving experience is genuinely impressive. Hybrid powertrains, smart choices for real drivers. The 2026 Bigster offers several engine choices, including mild hybrid and full hybrid options. This is important because buyers today care deeply about fuel economy. And the hybrid versions appear to perform very well. Some reports mention fuel economy figures approaching 50 to 60 miles per gallon in hybrid form under ideal conditions. That is extremely competitive for a family SUV of this size. The hybrid system also improves urban driving. Lower fuel bills. Smoother stop-start traffic behavior. Reduced emissions. Quiet low-speed operation. And because the Bigster is relatively lightweight compared to many rivals, efficiency improves further. This lightweight philosophy is another hidden strength. Modern SUVs are becoming absurdly heavy. The Bigster avoids that trap. The value equation. Why the Bigster matters. Now we arrive at the single most important reason why the Bigster is receiving so much attention. Value. Not cheapness. Value. There is a difference. Cheap products feel disposable. The Bigster does not. Instead, it feels intelligently engineered around priorities that matter. And this is exactly why so many reviewers praise its price-to-space ratio. The Bigster gives buyers SUV styling, large cabin, huge cargo area, hybrid efficiency, modern technology, practicality, rugged design, family usability, for dramatically less money than many rivals. That changes the conversation, because suddenly buyers start asking difficult questions. Do I really need to spend 40,000 euros? Why am I paying extra for luxury badges? Do I care about soft-touch plastics more than saving thousands? And once customers start asking those questions, brands should worry, because the Bigster exposes how overpriced many modern SUVs have become. Real-world ownership feedback. What makes the Bigster especially interesting is the growing amount of owner feedback appearing online. And the reactions are surprisingly positive. On Reddit and owner forums, many users praise the practicality, simplicity, and comfort of the vehicle. Several owners mention excellent space, easy to clean interior, good fuel economy, strong value, comfortable daily driving, functional technology. However, there are criticisms too. Some owners report occasional rattles or dashboard noises. Others point out that the infotainment system feels slower than premium rivals. And yes, interior materials remain basic. But what's fascinating is this. Many owners simply don't care, because they understand what they bought. And more importantly, they feel like they got their money's worth. That is a powerful thing in today's automotive market. The biggest strength: honesty. If I had to describe the Bigster in one word, it would be this: honest. The Bigster does not pretend to be premium. It does not fake luxury. It does not overwhelm buyers with marketing gimmicks. Instead, it says, here is a spacious, efficient, capable SUV at a fair price. And people appreciate that honesty, especially now, in an age where cars increasingly feel over-engineered, over-digitized, and overpriced. The Bigster feels refreshingly straightforward. That simplicity may actually become Dacia's greatest advantage. Who should buy the Bigster? The Bigster is not for everyone. And that's perfectly fine. If you want cutting-edge luxury, whisper-quiet refinement, ultra-premium interiors, or high-performance driving dynamics, you should probably look elsewhere. But if you are a growing family, a practical buyer, a budget-conscious driver, an outdoor enthusiast, a commuter wanting space and efficiency, someone tired of overpriced SUVs, then the Bigster becomes incredibly compelling. It may genuinely be one of the smartest automotive purchases of 2026. The competition problem. Here's the uncomfortable truth for competitors. The Bigster exposes weaknesses in the modern SUV market. Many rivals offer excellent products, but they also carry inflated pricing. And once buyers test drive a Bigster and realize they can save thousands while still getting 80 to 90% of the practical experience, the entire segment changes. This is why the Bigster matters beyond Dacia itself. It pressures the industry. It reminds manufacturers that affordability still matters. And perhaps most importantly, it proves buyers do not always need luxury to feel satisfied. Final verdict. Is it the best value SUV of the year? So after all this, is the 2026 Dacia Bigster truly the best value SUV of the year? Honestly, it has a very strong case. Because value is not about having the most features. It's about delivering the right features at the right price. And the Bigster nails that formula better than almost any SUV currently on sale. It is spacious, efficient, comfortable, practical, affordable, modern enough, stylish enough, capable enough, and most importantly, it feels designed for normal people, not just wealthy buyers, not just badge collectors, not just tech enthusiasts, but real families living real lives. The 2026 Dacia Bigster may not be the most luxurious SUV. It may not be the fastest. It may not be the quietest. But pound for pound, euro for euro, dollar for dollar, it might just be the smartest SUV on the market today. And in a world where affordability is becoming increasingly rare, that makes the Bigster something genuinely special. For more information, visit relevant reviews and references.